In 2009, Glee was a hit TV show. The Sing-Off made its debut season, and while there were thousands of collegiate a cappella groups, there were only a handful at high schools around the country. OneVoice was one of those.
The first experience I've ever had with a cappella was OneVoice. And so I remember going home that night and I told my mom, I was like, I have to go to Briarcrest. Like, I have to. Like, we have to make this work.
I came to Briarcrest because of OneVoice. I went to a public school before I went to Briarcrest, and the biggest reason why I went to Briarcrest was to be able to even have the opportunity to audition for OneVoice.
And so then when Pitch Perfect came out, and I was like, I did that, but in high school.
I had worked them pretty hard that first year, and I wanted them to do something really fun and something different.
OneVoice started by dabbling in multiple styles, including vocal jazz and crossover choral pop. They started turning heads immediately with their performances of songs by groups like Take Six and New York Voices, who even came to Memphis to do a concert with OneVoice in their very first year.
That concert that we did with New York Voices, that was just an amazing experience.
I saw the support of the Briarcrest administration and community for the arts right away when we did this concert with New York Voices, and all these people came out and these businesses came out to support us doing such a high-level professional concert with a Grammy Award-winning group like New York Voices.
The group built a strong presence in the Memphis area quickly, performing outreach concerts for elementary and middle schools.
Singing for them, performing for them was super awesome because they're middle schoolers and they don't know better. Like, we were like rock stars for them, right? And they were having so much fun with it.
I mean, like, even just like the other students are like, oh yeah, I mean, I guess that's cool and all, but like, you're not playing football, so like, what, what's it matter? But I think that was one of the first times when people were just like, wow, like I didn't know you guys could do something like that. And of course, it was cool bringing in a lot more of like popular music.
But yeah, so we get out there and we do our set and they love it. They're like jumping up and down, clapping and stuff. And then we sing the last song, which is Don't You Worry Child, which is super clubby and upbeat and stuff. And they just flip out, and we were all like, holy cow, we're rock stars right now.
Which was so funny. We were walking around the hallways of Briarcrest and these middle school girls would run up to us screaming because they thought we were famous, but we're just high schoolers doing our thing.
With the help of OneVoice, the choral program at Briarcrest grew from 150 to 350 singers in a few short years. OneVoice was named Memphis's Best Unknown Band in 2011, but they wouldn't be unknown for long. In 2012, the group won the wild card round of the International Championship of High School a cappella and competed at finals in New York City.
So then we did the wild card to get to New York, and I remember like filming out in the one of the hallways because of the acoustics were really great and everything, and then I think we pretty much just like obliterated the wild card competition. And of course, I like winning.
In 2014, the group traveled to Kettering, Ohio, otherwise known as the center of the high school a cappella universe, for their national festival. They had been invited to perform on the showcase concert with a new group who had just won the Sing-Off, Pentatonics.
Yes, Queen! I probably sound crazy right now, but I'm enjoying this, to say the least. Y'all are so in tune. So good. So good. Unbelievable. Really, really unbelievable.
And then Avi said like, oh yeah, that's a good bass. And that's that's the only thing anyone ever mentioned about the bass, but that's all I needed.
I was just hoping that, I did my best and that we prepared as best we could, and I think we did that, so it was awesome. It paid off.
Later that year at the Contemporary A Cappella Recording Awards, Hannah Olivia would win Best High School Solo for Gravity, and their album would win Best High School Album. The group also became Sony recording artists with the project Elvis A Cappella. Recording had become a key element of the OneVoice experience.
It was my first experience in a studio, and I just felt like a superstar being in there, like an actual recording studio in the booth with you guys behind the glass in my ear. And it was kind of weird just singing the one part, over and over again, and the way it was, broken up, but it was an awesome experience.
Working with a team of a cappella superstars, OneVoice would go on to earn 34 Cara nominations and 13 awards, more than any group of any kind worldwide, except for multi-platinum Grammy-winning Pentatonics.
Katie reached out to me and wanted to take OneVoice and the whole Briarcrest program really to another level. And I'm glad I answered that email because it's been quite a ride. 8, 9, 10 CDs later, here we are. And I think the most fun part for me are all the relationships that I've been able to witness and become a part of over the years. The music has been pretty special as well.
I've arranged, I think, over 50 songs for the group in the last 7 to 8 to 9 years. It's been really amazing to be part of creating the sound of OneVoice from the bottom up. It's just really been amazing to be part of the evolution of the group as they've become one of the best high school groups in the world. And really the standard bearer for what high school a cappella can be.
With the attention gained from the recordings, OneVoice started to get more live performance opportunities as well. They performed for the Sing Off Live Tour, 5 years of the National A Cappella Festival, and 2 conferences of the American Choral Directors Association. They were the first pop a cappella group to be given a traditional choir performance slot at Southern Division ACDA.
Okay, it's definitely ACDA, 100%, because you know how a lot of directors go to the show there, and you know they usually have the really blank face, and they just stare at you like this.
Just a couple thousand for choir directors. It was definitely stressful, but I think we performed actually very well.
Filming that video was really exciting because I think that was the first video that we really had of our group, and so it was really special to see it spread past Briarcrest.
At one national a cappella convention, they had a masterclass with Grammy-winning British vocal group The Swingles, who invited them to be their opening act at the London A Cappella Festival. At that event, they also collaborated with choral crossover stars Voces 8 and the Sing Off Season 4 contestants Vocal Rush.
I was really nervous, but this guy came and talked to me and he was like, "Hey, you did a great job. I'm really proud of you." And I was like, "Do I know you?" And he goes, "No, but you've probably seen me on TV before." And he was like, "Have you ever seen Mythbusters?" And I was like, "Yes." And I looked at him and it was Adam Savage from Mythbusters.
That was like one of the coolest things ever, like performing for the Swingles and then doing stars with like Voces 8. That was like insanely cool. It was powerful.
I also really enjoyed going to London.
2016, arguably the group's busiest and most visible year, the group teamed up with a production team at Briarcrest to compete in the Macy's A Cappella Challenge, hosted by Pentatonics, with a $25,000 cash prize. They won.
When I think you told us on a bus, I think you already knew, but we were just like, I was like, wow. And then we got the giant check at Briarcrest, which was really cool.
That same group went on to be chosen as a contestant on America's Got Talent. They made it all the way to the Judge Cuts round.
America's Got Talent, it was crazy, but definitely one of the most thrilling experiences. When we walked out on there on the stage and I saw Simon Cowell and all those judges, I was like, wow, this is really surreal.
I didn't like it.
What? Oh, come on.
I loved it.
After America's Got Talent, the group was in high demand, with gig requests coming in from as far away as Portugal. They again opened for the Swingles, this time at ACDA Eastern Division.
My fondest memory was when we had the opportunity to sing for the Swingles.
We got to sing for the Swingles and it was just like the best feeling ever. I guess it was just a moment where I was so wrapped into it, I didn't realize that everyone was like applauding and they all stood up and gave us a standing ovation in the middle of our set, which is unheard of. And so it was just the coolest thing because we were all so into it emotionally that it was like tears. It was just crazy.
Perhaps the biggest gig ever came when OneVoice was invited to perform at the 70th annual Emmys Governor's Ball events.
It has been an incredible experience that I will always cherish and carry with me.
Just being able to see all the the celebrities that you hear about and you see on TV, seeing all them, performing for them, You're entertaining the people who entertain you. It's kind of cool.
I mean, like, it was crazy. I still can't believe that we did it. And the weird thing to me is, like, now that I've done that, I feel like I can sing, like, anywhere comfortably, and not be nervous.
Being on the red carpet, it was definitely nerve-wracking, but because of that, I kind of gained confidence through that, and it was actually really, really fun, and it went by so fast.
To see that growth over the last 10 years, it's amazing, and it's just so incredible to imagine where it's gonna go in the next 10 years, in the next 20 or 30, you know, I mean, who knows, sky's the limit.
The MO, you know, for the group was never good enough, you know, always, not in a negative way, but just in a sort of, okay, how can we make this better? You did good, but we can make it even better, you know, so it's a lot easier to be aware of, you know, when someone says, that'll be fine. And I do that sometimes, but, except because OneVoice never compromises anything ever.
Every year, the group seems to somehow push themselves to want to be even better.
Definitely a character builder, but I think that's because of us as a whole and you as the head, really just, you know, having somebody clearly so passionate and like, we're gonna do this and do it right.
I would say it's a lot of work, but in the end, you are able to constantly, over and over again, see the hard work that you put into this group and what it does for other people. You're able to make an impact on other people through your work.
When I was starting high school, Dr. Frizzell was also recently starting at Briarcrest, and I had the opportunity to watch essentially OneVoice be created, be this idea that got started. And looking at it now, not only is it national, it's worldwide. People know who OneVoice is. People know who Briarcrest is.
This is what young people can offer the world. And I think it's really special, and I think it's something that gets overlooked.
OneVoice is a true example of the pinnacle of what music education can do. It's really incredible what these high schoolers have been able to achieve. They have really performed at a professional level, and it's something that the whole world should see.
The thing that's incredible about OneVoice is their perpetual commitment to emotional vulnerability. They sing each song with their hearts as well as their voices, and to do that with incredible consistency is the result of the prowess, the brilliance of JD, and the environment in which he's creating this wonderful music.
Definitely not pitch perfect. Newsflash. Yeah. I always get asked, oh, is it like pitch perfect? No. Not at all. No, it's not. much more work.
Everyone is very driven in this group, and they all know what they have to do, and they all do their work and they get it done. And so if you're the only one that's off or anything, it's really embarrassing and nerve-wracking.
I think in general, looking back on it now as somebody who's a little bit older, it's a point of pride more than anything, of just being really, really grateful for the opportunities.
You can't just walk out into college or wherever you go and expect to get an offer from America's Got Talent or get an offer to jump and open up for the Swingles in London. That just doesn't happen.
Having OneVoice in my life as an experience as a teenager has greatly impacted my life in general. I think that OneVoice is the perfect example of what a team should be.
It taught me so much about friendship and how to work with people and how to be a team player, and I think I've carried that into everything that I do.
We're a family, you know? I mean, that's the closest I've ever been to any, they go way beyond friends or acquaintances.
Those people, some of them are still my best friends.
I would not have graduated high school had it not been for OneVoice. For being a high schooler that didn't love school, it was just the greatest thing ever.
It saved me in a lot of ways. It was my outlet. It was the thing that I looked forward to doing every single day.
That was such an important part of high school for me, is having the opportunity to find myself in music.
But I feel like when you're in it, it's a lot more experiential in the ways that that's where some of the most impactful moments in my life have come from.
Well, OneVoice was the reason, you are the reason that I started singing. Without you, I would not be where I am. OneVoice definitely shaped me in that way, taught me many things.
Just savor every moment before every performance. Just close your eyes and really try to take it in before you start. Because when it's gone, it's gone.